Peace, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Musings with me, your girl Nicole, Sister Midwife, where I share what's on my mind about finding joy while building my Black business and raising my free Black girl in this crazy ass world. So if you've been following my episodes, you know that last month I started a little short series about the W questions. Who, what, when, where, and why, and how the answers to these questions impact your business, specifically your doula business. So in the past couple of episodes, I dove into the who, the what, the when, and the where do you serve. We answered those questions a little bit and I talked about them. And today I'm going to go a little bit deeper into helping you think more clearly about the how and the why you serve and what it means for your business. But before I do that, listen. It's been about 2 weeks since I've done a Monday Musing, and it's been a wild ride since my last video. We got this bullshit bill that done passed, these ice raids going on, floods popping off, current and pending, wars, governmental manipulation. It's too much. It's been a lot. And people are trying to figure out where can they experience joy in the midst of all of that, right? So here in New Orleans, people was trying to find joy with the Essence Festival. And let me just say this. You could do a search on the internet and find all of the tea about how jacked up the festival was this year. I'm from New Orleans, so I was present here in 1995 when we had the first Essence Festival. And I've been watching the ebbs and flows of the festival since that time. And this year, I ain't gonna lie, I nearly drowned. All of the drama and stuff that was coming up on the internet, I was like, oh my God, I hope they get it together before July 2026. Me personally, I stayed inside. But if you did get out for the Essence Festival and you were here in New Orleans visiting or you live here, I hope that number one, you supported some Black local business. Number one. I hope you bought something from a Black local business and not just restaurants, other businesses too. And number two, I hope you did indeed find yourself some joy. Oh, I hope you all found some joy. Me, like I said, I stayed inside and I found my joy right here in the house. With all of the things happening in the world, I'm not gonna lie, my energy has been off. And so I made a decision to really take this weekend to get regrounded, to tap back into spirit, back into who I am, back into my purpose and my work, why it is that I do what I do. And it was actually right on time that I would tap back in as I prepared for speaking on the why and the how of your business. Why do you serve as a birth worker? It's in times like this, when things feel uncertain, you don't know which direction you're going in and what your next move is gonna be, that the why will be the thing to not only hold you down, but to also lift you up. Now, before we get into the why, let me start off talking about the how, all right? So as you do this work, you do have to decide how you want to serve. There was a time years ago when the how was pretty limited. Most people became a doula, and they didn't have a lot of options, so you served. How did you serve? You served as a private practicing doula. You took your clients, you did cash for service, and that was how you did. You marketed however you could market. You found partners if you decided to have a partner, but a lot of people operated as independent doulas. They didn't even really have contracts. They just kind of went along their way. Sometimes they had a backup, sometimes they didn't have a backup, but this was how they served. They served as an independent doula in the way that made sense to them in those days. Sometimes they had an informal relationship with another doula or two in the community, and they could have some informal backup. Sometimes they may have worked as a part of a small doula collective, mostly for profit. The collective business is different in different collectives. Sometimes there was profit sharing. Sometimes there was simply website sharing. There were all kind of different ways that a collective could be operated. But the reality was you were either an independent doula by yourself, independent doula in partnership with a couple of other doulas, or a part of a small doula collective. Well, now things are changing and how you can serve are changing a lot, particularly because now people are trying to hire doulas. Like for real, like there's job descriptions out there in Indeed and possibly on LinkedIn for doulas. I've gotten a few job descriptions recently and I'm like, really? Do y'all really want to have a job as a doula with another people? But that's up to y'all. Managed care companies are hiring doulas. Medicaid are hiring doulas. Insurance companies are hiring doulas. Hospitals, FQHCs, nonprofit community programs, CBOs, all these different places are hiring doulas. And there are indeed pros and cons to all of the options. You have to decide how you want to serve. And if your how includes having a job, I want to share with you some things that you should definitely be thinking about and considering as you move through this process. So number one, it may seem obvious, but you really want to think deeply about who is doing the hiring. Who is this job with and where is this job? Is this job in a hospital? That job is going to be very different from a job that was a local CBO or a local birth center. Think about who you're going to be working for and how it will impact how you can serve. What are the terms of the job? Are you a contractor? Or are you going to be an employee? You're going to get a 1099 at the end of the year? You got a W-2? Is this a temporary job connected to a grant, or is it a permanent job? Are you getting paid hourly? You getting paid per mom that you support, per family? Do you have to do other stuff like childbirth education, postpartum visits? What are the requirements? Are you going to be given a caseload and your pay is based on the caseload? How big is that caseload? In the midst of this job, can you have your private clients, or will private clients be off limits? So like you can only have this job. There's no quote conflict of interest. You can only work for these people. These are some of the things, and this is not an all-exhaustive list. These are some of the things that you really want to be considering and thinking about when you decide to serve your how inside of a job. Now, maybe your how is a part of a for-profit collective. You want to be the owner. Maybe you're a contractor. It provides built-in backup. There's a shared workload, but you want to know, how is the money shared? Is there stable pricing? Do I have independence in here? Can you get your personal clients on the outside? Is there shared ownership? Is there a single person that is head in charge? Is it a collaborative? Is it a co-op? How is this thing operating? Are there membership dues? What do the dues pay for? Understand the MOUs, understand how you stand inside of this collective. People understand. Now, we now know that in order to have any type of sustainability in this work, to have any type of normalcy with your life, that it is beneficial to work with a collective, to work with a collective group of people, whether that is a formal doula collective or that is an informal doula collective. We understand that working in collaboration with other people makes all of our lives better and easier, but do not lose sight of the importance of having an MOU, that's a memorandum of understanding, or something written down where the two of you are clear on the expectations, not the two of you, the four of you, the six of you, the eight of you, however many are in this collective, that there are clear standards for how we're going to operate, how we're going to support each other, how you're going to do backup. All of these things are important when you think about how do you serve. If you're doing a nonprofit way, you want to have a nonprofit, it's a lot of the same stuff as the collective, but rather than being just a founder, you might be an executive director, which means it is a job, right? So a lot of the benefits are the same as those with a nonprofit, but oftentimes nonprofits are operating on grants. So if you're getting this job, you want to make sure that you understand what is the after grant plan. What happens when the grant ends? Is this a pilot program? Is there something in place for sustainability for you as an individual doula, for them as an organization? How are they going to keep this work moving once the grant ends? Now, for many of you, you will choose to continue to do the work in individual private practice. This means that you will be in charge of all of the things and you will be taking the entrepreneurial walk. This does not mean that you have to do all of the things, but you will be the over person overseeing all of the ins and outs of it. And the entrepreneurial journey is a personal growth journey. I can attest to that. So if anybody's on that journey and you feel like you want some support, just reach out, let me know, because I am doing some coaching for doulas who are looking to expand and grow their business and their impact. So if you want some coaching with me, just reach out to us, coaching@sistermidwife.com. Now that is the how. That is some of the stuff in the how. Keep in mind that your how will continue to change as legislations, as policies, as things change on the governmental horizon, on the reimbursement horizon. How you serve will also begin to change. So pay attention. But now let's talk about the why. Why do we do this work? The why is critical. Your why will keep you going when shit feels off. When you are tired, frustrated, mad, remembering your why can lift you up and keep you focused and moving forward. My mother and one of my mentors used to always tell me, to whom much is given, much is expected. Now, that much is given did not mean material stuff, but they believed that there was some work that I was going to have to do and that I had the gifts and the talents to do it, and that this work was going to be important for the community. And they were daring me and challenging me to step into my purpose. I knew that my work, always have known that my work would be work of service, work that benefited my community. That was my charge. From my grandmothers, my mother, my mentors. I started off by becoming a nurse. 1994, I became a nurse. My mother was a nurse person, and she taught me that being a nurse was a service profession. You are here to serve and advocate for and on behalf of your patients. And I was a good nurse. And then I became a midwife. I became a midwife because I thought that becoming a midwife would allow me to serve bigger community in a bigger way, in a more impactful way. So I became a midwife. And that still did not utilize the gifts that I have for my community in the way that the challenge had become, to whom much is given, much is required. And so over the years, I then became Sister Midwife and started Sister Midwife Productions. And no matter where I was serving and how I was doing the work, all along, it was my love for women, and in particular, my love for Black women, that kept me focused. This is my first why. Why do I do my work? Because I love Black women, because I am a Black woman, because it is my calling. Quite honestly, I really don't have a choice, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It is why I am here. It is my life's purpose. The question that you have to ask yourself is, why do you do your work? Now, I also know today, I know this more than ever before, that your why can change. It could get bigger. Because now my why also includes my daughter. I want to leave a legacy for her that she can look to as an example of a way to live, thrive, and serve. I want her to know that she can be that thing. We can do all of those things. We can live, we can thrive, and we can serve. And I do my work as an example of that so that she can see it. I do my work so that she can live more free today as a Black girl than I felt like I could live in the 1970s and 80s, and that in the future, she will be able to live even more free as a Black woman. And in fact, I do this work so that all of the little girls coming behind her who carry my DNA will be able to live as free Black women. That is my why. What's your why? Why do you do this work? Over the years, lots of different doulas I've trained, I've seen mostly a couple of reasons why people come into this work. They had a horrible experience personally, or they bear witness to a horrible experience, and they vowed that they would not on their term, on their watch, continue to allow that to happen to other people. So they became a doula so that they can be a protector for the people who need that protection. They became a doula because they had a phenomenal experience, and their doula was an integral part of that experience. And they became a doula because they wanted other people to know the value of having a doula. Some of you came into the work because you read about it in the paper. You got pissed off and fed up with maternal health outcomes and the ways that Black women are treated in the medical obstetrical system. You do the work because you want to be a part of the change that we need in this world. For some of you, it's simply a calling. I say simply, not because it's simple and small, but because that's what it is. All your life, you've been doing this work. And it is the reason why you do it. My very first doula job, I was 9 years old helping my auntie give birth to my little cousin. One thing I could say for sure, no matter how, why, when, how, where, all of the W questions that you do this work, I want you to remember that you must do this work from a place of love. If we do this work from a place of anger and frustration, always angry at the system, angry at the man, angry at him, angry at her, angry at them, we will die and crumble on the inside. We have to fill ourselves up with love, love for the work, love for the people that we serve, love for the experiences that we are having for ourselves and experiencing with others. We must do the work because we love it. That will be the thing that will sustain us. That is the why that will pull you through to the end every single time. Woo! And so with that, y'all, that's all I got. All of a sudden, huh? That's all I got. Take what you like and leave the rest. Do it from love. Keep showing up. Don't forget to fill your cup. And don't forget to tell the world that birth is the revolution. Peace.